What's up, guys? Welcome back to the JP and Trav Show on the JP and Trav Show YouTube channel. As always, it's your host with the most, JP, and to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother and friend, Travis J. Davison. Travis, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling great. A whirlwind over these last few hours, obviously. Finally getting sorted out right before we go live. Appreciate everybody. I believe Scoop had it first, our boy George over there. Um, yeah, exciting times if you're an Oklahoma Sooner, right?
Yeah,
Anyways, a lot to get into, of course. How are you doing?
man, I'm good. I'm good. Just trying to get back into the swing of things. We got I got a basketball game tomorrow after being on break for a little bit, and had practice this whole week, and so kind of getting the swing of things in life. But yeah, I'm feeling good about this direction of the program in general. Obviously, sour taste in the mouth with the Alamo Bowl loss, and we'll get into a snippet of that here in a second. But excited about the trajectory of the program, even with that going 10-3, and things are on the up and up, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy this time of year because the season's over, but it still feels we just have so much to talk about. Transfer portal, DC hire, DC fire.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, bowl game, national championship coming up. Like, I couldn't be more appreciative of all the people that are already in here. Obviously, you got some of the regulars, Jesse and Lloyd, and obviously Boomer 129, Topher's always hanging out, Les always hanging out, Big Nate, Kim, Brian. I mean, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. We know that it's a busy time right now, and everybody's updating Twitter as quick as they can to get more quotes on this guy and get more opinions on this guy. We couldn't be more appreciative that you are here with us, getting our thoughts and opinions, and sharing some of your own, of course. So hit that like button. Let's get this one up there. Let's get this one up there. We got a couple other things to fold into the show today for the first time, which I'm really excited about. But yeah, what do you want to start with, JP?
yeah. Let's just talk about really quick. Just mention, be remiss to not talk about the Alamo Bowl. Just really quick. Obviously, was something I had a chance to be at last Thursday. We didn't do our show. I think it may have been first time in a while we missed a week, but obviously we had a game on that day, and so it's
Right.
a little bit different. But yeah, man, I just wanted to get everybody's thoughts on the Alamo Bowl. Yours, obviously, included on just what we saw. I know, a lot of Sooners fans post Alamo Bowl where, at least on Twitter, as OU Twitter can be very vocal in their displeasure and blaming different people, offensive line, obviously turnovers. Didn't feel like Jackson played that well. But, you look at it, you had a true freshman quarterback, a patchwork offensive line, a new offensive coordinator to the University of Oklahoma, calling an offense that's different than his. They still have 560 yards of total offense with six turnovers. With the six turnovers, they still had that many yards, which is crazy. Um, and Jackson threw for 361. Yeah, he had some bad picks. None were probably worse than that one right after the just inexplicable, ball that pops in the air out of Jalil Farouk's stomach and gets somehow
He had a rough
perfect
night.
to be returned like 90 yards, for a touchdown. I don't even know if they called it a pick six or a fumble six, whatever that thing was. It was just crazy. And then, of course, the interception right after that. But other than that, man, I mean, the two touchdown throws he had were that's 5-star throws right there. I mean, back in the end zone to Nick Anderson going to your left is crazy. The throw to Brennan Thompson was on a rope. It's beautiful. And that shows you how fast Brennan Thompson is because they made that ball look a tick late. But I think he threw it when it needed to be thrown. That's how fast Brennan is. So all in all, obviously disappointed with the loss. And it's literally the craziest change of a game I can remember.
Laughs.
Even being there, like we were talking so much. Like there's a girl behind us. that was like, she's yelling "Bear down." She was drunk, and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. The Bears are down. Like, they not winning." Like, and then literally right after that, we're about to go up 18, and bang.
Hey, the chat knows Indy likes to talk his mess. Indy likes to talk his mess, and he got right in the middle of the game.
I got. I did. I was quiet the rest of the time because then he throws the pick, and I just sat down. I didn't say nothing else. It was crazy. But I digress. What did you think, man, about the?
I think the defense played well enough to win. I thought 29 yards given up, rushing, lots of tackles for loss, lots of sacks. I thought Kip Lewis had a great game. I thought Kendall Dolby had a great game. I thought Rondell Bothroyd had a really good game. I think, like I said, defense played well enough to win, and I think they just got kind of, I don't know, worn down by the end of it. And Arizona's good offense, really good offense. They came in, was winning 6 straight. They're probably going to be top 2 favorites to win the Big 12 next year. They don't play Oklahoma State in the they don't play Oklahoma State in the regular season, so it could be an OSU-Arizona battle. Who knows? But anyways, that's a good team. Jed Fish is a good coach. There's a reason that he was rumored to A&M. He was rumored, he shut those down. They think he'll either take Florida if he stays in the college ranks, or he'll go to the NFL. So, but Arizona's good. The thing is, I don't want it to be a full-blown "I told you so," but we'll just say it's the theme that you and I have been saying all year when it comes to Jackson Arnold versus Dillon Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson Arnold, when you watch the Alamo Bowl, you can sit there and, despite the turnovers, you can say that dude is more talented than Dillon Gabriel. That's not a secret.
Yep.
You could say that after he continued to throw picks and had that fumble. So the reason he wasn't starting was because the reason we'd said the whole time. Decision making. This offense is RPO offense.
Yep.
You have to make the right decisions. DG constantly made the right decisions. Did he always have the arm talent to get it done? No, he didn't. But he was highly productive because he made the best decisions. So a couple of those interceptions, Jackson threw it right to the dude because they showed him one thing pre-snap and then just went into something post-snap, but he had already made up his mind.
Yep.
So that's all it is Jackson Arnold's the more talented quarterback. We all know that. But his turnovers lost us the game. Really, Farouk didn't have the best day. We can point fingers all we want, but Jackson held on to the ball too long. He didn't hand it off when he should have. He threw it into coverage where he threw it right to defenders.
Yep.
He threw it late to Drake Stoops, which ended up in a turnover. But he flashed those 5-star moments that made you think, yeah, we're going to be in good shape. So I think the game was just I think it just confirmed what the OU coaches did all year. Yeah. They played the guy that wasn't going to lose you the game, and the guy that was behind him, he's eventually going to win you a lot of games in the SEC. But he just needs to go through a spring being the decision maker, and that's the difference.
Yeah,
just have to be the decision maker. That's the key. So, I thought it was as expected. I'm sure Brendan Thompson was thrilled that, he didn't have to come back to a ball. I think he sees what things there are to come. I'm wondering what the wide receiver room looks like next year at the top. Mm-hmm. Farouk is the elder statesman, and I don't think have we got to confirm that he's coming back?
Not necessarily. but the transfer portal is closed for now. So I
He
mean,
would be going to the NFL if he was
if he was leaving, I don't think he's
so
anywhere.
the thing is, you got Deion Burks coming, who was highly productive, like one of the best wide receivers in the portal.
Yeah.
You've got Andrew Anthony coming back, who was your leading receiver until he got hurt, and he was really creating separation early. That was really him. He was creating a ton of separation. You got Brennan Thompson, who's creating a ton of separation. Oh, don't forget Nick Anderson, who broke Marvin Mims' freshman touchdown record with 10. I mean, you got Jaden Gibson, who physically gives you options that you simply don't have anywhere else on the roster. I mean, Jaquez Petaway,
Yeah.
supremely highly rated recruit from last year's class, has good chemistry with Jackson. I don't know. I'm wondering what Farouk's role is next year, because I think the wide receiver room is just
stacked.
cutthroat competitive. Cutthroat competitive.
Yeah, it's stacked.
You cannot have ball security issues and play in that wide receiver room.
He'll get pulled out.
You can't. You can't. Once people think that you might give the ball to the other team, why play you over Jaden Gibson, who all he does is moss people? I mean, why play him over Brennan, who's going to blow by everybody on the roster?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I think Farouk's got to prove that he can hold on to the ball. I mean, and he didn't get in the end zone really all year.
Yeah. Yeah, he only had 2. That's crazy.
I mean, had as many fumbles in the Alamo Bowl as he had touchdowns all year. So, I mean, I think he's talented. I think he's impossible to bring down once he has the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just kind of tough to get him the ball at times. And every time you saw a deep ball dialed up for him, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe that's not our best. But I don't want this to be a Farouk bashing session. He's had his really good moments at OU. I get it, but wide receiver room something to watch next year because it's absolutely loaded.
It's loaded.
Absolutely loaded.
Yeah.
Sue Davidson says Farouk can't see him in the NFL yet. I agree, Mom.
Hey, she knows what she's talking about. Yeah, you're right. Defensively, defense was so good. Second and third quarter, fourth quarter, just 6 turnovers is a lot to ask. A defense to get stops and everything like that. Obviously, we would have liked to see them do it in that moment again. Obviously, they held them to the field goal right after Jackson threw an interception, which was huge. But then we can't score, and one thing leads to another, and look up, we're down 14, which is just unfortunate. But overall, I think we have a lot of good options, coming back defensively. Obviously, Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, just to name a few. Woody's coming back. Safety room is going to be deep. Cornerback room is going to be deep. Picked up a couple. I think we picked up another one today, if I'm not mistaken, on top of the one we had already grabbed out of the portal. And then, the linebacker room is going to be deep. Obviously, you still have Kip. You still have Danny. You still have Jaron. You have Kobe. And then behind them, you have Lewis Carter. You have, Samuel Mashigo. You have James Nesta coming in. Excuse me. Just guys on top of guys, right? Which is part of building a culture and stacking competitive depth. Which talk about is what you want to see. And so, hopefully the freshmen that didn't get to play as much this year will mature more, and we may see them pop off next year, whether that's on defensive line. Which we're losing a ton of guys there, and probably going to look to pick up a few more in the portal later. But I just think that, Oh, and the last thing, actually, I meant to say this, and then we can move on from Alamo Bowl and talk about what I know everybody wants to get to, which is defensive coordinator. We had a lot of talk, and always lots of talk about Bill Bedenbaugh, Trav, and we talked about it on the show ad nauseum. And one of the craziest things that I thought was, like, a lot of people wanted to come after the offensive line, in the Alamo Bowl, which I get they had a couple holds, a couple drive killing holds at that. However, half of their holds was because Jackson was holding the ball too long on RPO, and just in general, right?
Or
And
not handing it off.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, period. Not handing it off either when you're supposed to, or a lineman downfield, because those are the simple things we talked about. But I mean, for a patchwork O line and everybody's feeling like the sky is falling because Caden Green's leaving and everything like that. I mean, the I feel like the offensive line for what we had played decently well, like 560 yards, over 200 yards rushing, and we really didn't run the ball a ton. We didn't, and part of that's because Jackson didn't hand the ball off. Everybody's like, why didn't we run the ball? A ton of RPOs called, and
And Gavin got a little gimpy with that
he
hamstring.
did. He did. You could tell. Because
Yeah, when he came around that side and he got real slow, I'm like,
yeah,
that's not patience.
yeah,
He's hurt.
yeah. And so ultimately, I think we just got to trust Bill Bedenbaugh and who he is and what he's done. I think that obviously it's not going to be ideal going to SEC next year with new offensive linemen in different positions. However, whether Caden Green was here or not, that was going to be the case. And I know Caden Green's good, but he's not the whole offensive line. You still have Troy Everett, still got Jacob Sexton. We'll see what Josh Bates can do. And you had two offensive linemen that performed really well at the All-American camp this week. And so who's to say they don't have a say? If Caden Green gets saved as a freshman, maybe they can too. And really, we're looking for the future. Anyways, I'll get off my high horse about Bill Bedenbaugh. We could talk all night about that.
Yeah, I mean, Bedenbaugh's going to get it done again. I think if we bring in this USC commit whose mom is this USC transfer from Florida, USC had him playing out of position at right tackle. He'd only played left guard and left tackle to that point. I think he slots in at left guard. If we're looking at it next year, we've got Jake Sexton at left tackle, Tarquin at left guard. I think Troy Everett's probably your center. Josh Bates will obviously compete for that in spring, but Troy Everett was a freshman All-American center in 2022 before he got here to back up Rame. So I think he's probably your center, and he's got fine size. He's like 5 pounds lighter than that Alabama center that everybody started drooling over after he stunk it up in the Rose Bowl. And then get Fabechi at Fabechi Nwuwu at right guard, and then you get Spencer Brown at right tackle, and then you let Jake Taylor compete for that right tackle spot. You let Logan Howland compete for that right tackle spot. Then you let Heath Ozida compete for one of the guard spots. You let Eddie Pierre-Louis compete for one of the guard spots. You let Eugene B.J. Brooks compete for one of the guard spots. You let Kankumi compete. Let these guys go to work and see what happens. But I think that's what your two-ish deep looks like. But Tarquin was at USC last year playing right tackle. He went there because I believe it's his girlfriend's dad was a legend there, and then went down to play the Jacksonville Jaguars, big NFL career. He was influenced there. A lot of people had him to OU straight up Florida, but he got it right the second time. He played a lot. He's played a lot of football, and he's 6'5", 300 pounds. He's played a lot of football. You can put him right there, left guard, and you'd be in good shape. So, I mean, I'm not worried about the offensive line. So
Yeah.
We can move forward. What you got next?
Yeah. Well, as everyone saw today, we let go of Ted Roof. Mutually decided to part ways with Ted Roof. And here Travis and I are thinking, hey, we're going to get to, go back to Travis's old days doing the OU rumors and news with with speculating over who's going to be the new defensive coordinator. People staying up till 4 a.m. Like, are we going to go back to those days? And then, lo and behold, right before we get on, it comes out that more than likely hasn't been announced officially by the university as of yet, but more than likely, Zach Alley, Jacksonville State defensive coordinator, who also is at University of Louisiana, Monroe before this, and spent 4 years as a grad assistant in Clemson under BV in that defense there, is likely going to be hired as the new defensive coordinator. 29 years old. So one of the youngest people on the staff, one of the youngest defensive coordinators in America. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, what's going on? Why are we hiring some young buck? But all reports I've seen have said this guy's a BV clone, a young version of him. And you got to think with how BV is about his defense, if he's going to hire a young guy, it's going to be somebody that he trusts to run it. And as George Stoyev put it from Sooner Scoop, BV's trying to become more CEO. He's trying to be more hands off. And if he trusts a guy, even at he's young and he's only been at Jacksonville State, if he trusts a guy to handle it, I trust him. I do. I trust BV defensively. I do. Period. So he made the decision to finally move on from Ted Roof. A lot of people have been feeling that, and it happened. And I'm excited to see, where it goes from here, Trav. What do you think?
I mean, the fact that it happened so quick gives me more confidence.
Yeah.
I personally would have loved to see Brandon Hall, get the nod. But that's just because I know Brandon Hall is coached defense before. Allie wasn't really on my radar. Maybe it should have been, but I'm a believer in continuity, and I know people disagree with me on that, but in a world where you don't have any continuity on the roster because of the transfer portal, like, get whatever continuity you can and try and build a foundation. Like, when it came to hiring in this defensive coordinator role, I didn't want, everybody's like, well, Jim Leonhard. Okay, well, pick who on your defensive staff you want to fire. Because Jim Leonhard is going to want to bring his own guys and he's going to want to bring his own scheme. So you'd rather have Jim Leonhard's defense than Brent Venables. Like, oh, we should hire – somebody said, and I don't want to, pick on him too much, but, I mean, somebody said we ought to hire Utah's defensive coordinator. Well, they have a good defense, but he's been under a defensive head coach his whole time he's been at Utah. It's the same people that wanted to hire Ryan Grubb away from Washington when Kellen DeBoer is the offensive head coach running the show. So it's like we get in these kind of, I don't know, when it comes to hiring, people go, hey, just pull up the defensive rankings and hire that defensive coordinator. Like, pull up the offensive rankings, hire that offensive coordinator. Like, there's more nuance to it. You need to have familiarity. There's got to be scheme fit. There's got to be, I mean, obviously, a guy that's at Jacksonville State doesn't want to, he's not going to bring his staff. He doesn't have Todd Bates on his staff. He doesn't have Jay Valai on his staff. He doesn't have Brandon Hall on his staff.
Yeah.
So he's a guy that Brent trusts, and Brent would not hire a 29-year-old kid to run his defense if he wasn't wildly confident in it.
What's crazy, Trav, is, I mean, you got to think maybe Brandon didn't want it, or maybe he's comfortable being safety. Because I don't think I realized this. I just looked it up that Brandon was defensive coordinator at Jacksonville State for like 3 years.
Yeah, and then Troy.
Yeah. So it's just, but.
And what's funny is, I've got multiple family members that went to Jacksonville State. Mm-hmm. One currently goes to Jacksonville State, and it's a relative through marriage. But I'll have to text them here in a bit and tell them thank you for the defensive coordinator. They went down to the bowl game. I mean, them moving from FCS to FBS was a major deal. And then they went and won their bowl game in the FBS. So they did it really with his defense. So as much as a lot of you don't want to hear it, I get it. But this reeks of Lincoln Riley. Like Lincoln Riley being hired, youngest offensive coordinator from East Carolina, and is, think what you want about the guy. The dude is a good offensive coordinator. He led some of the best offenses that have been around Oklahoma. Head coach, I'll take what we got. But Lincoln Riley as an offensive coordinator was awesome. So with Zach, you hope that's a similar type vibe to it, that he comes in and just calls a beautiful defense. That what's going to be nice about it is he's got a 2-time all-conference guy leading his defensive line room. He's got an All-American leading his linebacker room, and he's got an All-American leading his secondary room.
Yeah.
If you're a first-time big defensive coordinator, that's pretty good. If you've got that type of player leadership, this type of roster, guys like Woody Washington come back, Dejon Terry, Ethan Downs, Jacob Lacey, Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, you got those guys coming back, and then you add Jerry Schmidt, Brent Venables, and those position coaches, your job becomes a lot more fun.
Yeah, 100%. And
in year 3, Brent Venables' defenses have always been best.
Yeah.
At Oklahoma and at Clemson. That's when they take their biggest leap. So we didn't need to, rock the apple cart. We needed to get a guy that would run BV's defense, and BV would trust to run his defense, because when BV's defense is running at a high clip, it's the best defense in the country.
Yep. Yeah. I just hope that, the zone drops get fixed. That's my biggest qualm.
That's the weirdest thing about our defense. I'll never understand it. We get worse in pass coverage when we drop 8.
It makes no sense.
We're a terrible zone team, and I have no idea why.
Just awful. Like
we could put 20 guys back there, and I'd still rather have 4.
And the middle is wide open somehow.
Because the 4 know what they're doing.
Yep. It was so funny at the game last Thursday when as soon as we saw that we rushed 3, even if we had a bare front and we dropped and 3 were rushing, like all the Oklahoma fans were like, "Oh no,
oh no!"
I was like, "How? Like, what's going on?" But yeah, I'm excited to see what he brings to the table. Seems like a young guy that has a lot to prove. And again, say what you want. I know a lot of people, as some people have already said, what about Brandon? Why didn't we do that? And obviously, you had even mentioned on Twitter the possibility of hiring kind of in-house, if you will. But this is somebody that obviously, while they have been in Oklahoma, somebody that's sat for years, almost 5 years under Brent Venables, and knows exactly the way that he wants something done. And if Brent Venables goes and gets a guy for a specific reason and this quickly, as you stated, and even before that, this is a guy he's vouched for. He vouched for this guy at 27 years old to get a position as a defensive coordinator at Louisiana Monroe. So,
it was going to happen quick. That Ted Roof news came from OU. That was not. That was a Thad type of situation. Like, not a single like, you can get into insider wars all you want. They can eat their heart out, but not a one said anything that I saw, at least. So, I could be wrong on that. I'm not on all of them, but I didn't see it. I saw it come across Twitter. So with that, he likes it. And this isn't an in-house hire. And again, I like the in-house. I think that OU, I think they would be best served to promote a guy to DC, and then he gets a head coaching job. Promote the co-DC up to DC, and the run game defense coordinator or the associate head coach or the pass game defense coordinator up to co-DC and just rotate them out like that. Like, I think the offense is a little bit cleaner because we happen to have a former head coach on staff as an analyst. But like Latrell, he'll go get a head coaching job, then just move Joe John up and move Emmett Jones into Joe John's role. And then Joe John will get a head coaching job, move Emmett Jones up into full-blown offensive coordinator, and then put whoever there after that. Like I like that because you're never having to reinstall a defense or an offense ever again. You're tweaking it for sure.
Yeah.
But you're not having to consistently change the language and go a full reset. Like, imagine resetting the offense or the defense or both going into the SEC. We would stink. It would be 6 and 7 year all over again, but probably worse.
Oh, yeah.
And you wouldn't have dudes coming back because they're like, I'm not trying to learn a new defense in my last year.
No. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
No.
And that's the biggest thing that people need to understand. Like you said, when it comes to continuity, like you don't want to learn a brand new thing going into SEC. Everybody's worried about the offensive line. At least you still have your offensive line coach who knows how to coach. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's the language, the calls, everything like that. But I, as many of you know, I do a lot of eating on the pod. But now I've got a sponsor for my snacks every week. For my snacks, some of you saw on Twitter, I'm going to be, if my camera picks it up, that's terrible. There we go. Righteous Felon. This one specifically is the Bourbon Franklin. So let me. There we go. So, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. This is the Bourbon Franklin. As you can see, an American dream of bourbon and vanilla bean. These guys over at Righteous Felon, I literally got this as a gift, and I was like, yeah, this stuff is delicious. Post about it on Twitter, and they're like, hey, let's get a little partnership going. So my snacks from now on will be Righteous Felon Craft Jerky. So what the guys over there did was gave me a promo code to give to all my closest friends. And I said, hey, I got a bunch of friends that I meet with every Thursday night.
Yes, sir.
So promo code is Travis. Just my name. It's very easy. Travis. Go to righteousfelon.com and enter Travis at checkout. Right now, I think they're doing free shipping of orders of $50 or more. But that's what I will be snacking on. What I like about it is it doesn't, like a lot of the bigger beef jerkies, they're real like sugary. Like it's almost like a beef candy type situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not this. It's tender. It's actual beef. This one, like I said, Bourbon Franklin. I'll have a different flavor next week. I'm going to do a different flavor every single week. This one has 20 grams of protein, which is actually kind of nice because, as you all know, sometimes I'm eating on here late and maybe I'm eating some candy. Maybe I'm eating some, whatever, right? But this one, only 150 calories for it, but 20 grams of protein. So all your good stuff, your gluten-free, your American-made, all that kind of stuff. So really cool branding, really cool jerky. But again, righteousfelon.com and Travis is the code at checkout to get 15% off. And I'll have a new flavor every week. So this is what I'm going to be snacking on. So we can get back to it, but I was getting hungry, so I was like, man, I don't want to wait any longer. So
yes,
appreciate you guys.
Yes, congratulations to Travis, and I know I'm gonna look into it. I might order me some. I'm a
There
big
you go.
guy,
There you
so
go.
I'm gonna try to give some 15% off on a little jerky there. See what it tastes
And
like.
they've got biltong too. For those of you that don't know what biltong is, Very popular in the rugby community. I've had some before that I've posted about. A buddy of mine makes,
Mhm.
but it's like a dried beef, marinated and then dried beef. That's cut real thin. That's got 0 sugar in it. That one. So if you're trying to avoid all sugars, biltong. They've got like a black garlic one.
Mhm.
They've got all kinds of different stuff, but they've got those. They've got kind of the traditional like meat sticks, all kinds of stuff, and they've got turkey jerky. They've got whatever they can fit your needs, but really cool flavors. They have a Soul Survivor, Seoul Survivor. That's like a Korean barbecue style. That's incredible. So yeah, it's good stuff. Again, Travis at checkout gets you 15% off, and that's good forever. Good forever. So, biltong jerky only online. So check it out at righteousfelon.com. All right.
That's right. All right, let's get into some recruiting and portal talk. Obviously we just finished up the early signing class. Obviously, trying to see. I don't know how many stragglers are out there. They need to sign by the dates. And is it late?
We went 27 for 27.
Okay,
Every committee
yeah,
signed.
we're good. So, and again, I don't know what the staff is thinking about. Joe, you maybe speak more to that. The staff is speaking on or to any more recruits to add with this late signing period, or if they're done, and then just straight up hitting the portal.
Well, like last year, you can think of like who was it? Taylor Wine that rose late, was a late bloomer. They like to analyze senior film and identify late risers. If you remember, like even R. Mason Thomas was a guy that was committed to Iowa State that they really got onto late, and a lot of people offered late because he was a late riser. So they'll do some of that, but honestly, I don't think they sign anybody else. It's a 27-person class, and where are you light? You took a bunch of defensive linemen. Yeah, maybe you're light at linebacker, but that room is loaded right now.
Yeah.
With Danny coming back, you have Danny, Jaron, Kip, Kobe. Danny's going to start. Kobe, Kip, Jaron, the 3 of those dudes are going to battle for that other spot. Then you've got Phil Picciotti, Lewis Carter, and Samuel Masigo, who's the highest ranked linebacker class we've had in a long time collectively. And then you've got James Nesta coming in, who has got a red shirt because he's behind 10 linebackers. So when you look at that, it's just like you don't really have space for anybody else. I don't see where else comments, help me out.
Yeah.
In this class, where would you add somebody? I mean, you've got a good amount of offensive linemen. You got 2 quarterbacks. You got 3 running backs. You got like 30 wide receivers. Like maybe another tight end, but you got the best one in the country. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if like a Dominic McKinley or something like that were to come free, sure,
maybe,
sure. But outside of something like that, I think we're golden.
Yeah, and I know that LSU's whole defensive staff just got let go, but I'm sure that Dominic probably is still just going to stay on.
Probably. Yeah, it's like I think that Dominic McKinley was told that by Brian Kelly that was going to happen. Like because he's committed, like he's not signed. Right? So it's like if they knew they were getting rid of their defensive staff, which that defensive staff deserved to be getting rid of, McKinley just has to be betting on whoever they're getting. But Oofta Skull, that's Pops. He's got a righteous sampler coming their way. He's the one, so he makes his own jerky. This is the best store-bought jerky that I've ever tasted. I have to preface it with store-bought. This is the best jerky that I've actually tasted. But
Your dad.
Less I would go with, this is delicious. I go with the Bourbon Franklin. That Soul Survivor, it was so good. So good. I've got a new one that we're bringing in next week. I'm going to try a new one every time until I eventually rotate, because they don't have 100 flavors. They got 12, I think. But yeah, so
Yeah, you had the habanero Escobar, so I'm looking at.
that one next week.
Hey,
Next week.
there you go. There you go.
The names on them are great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to order me some right now. Hopefully, it don't take that long to get here. But hit that like button. Make sure y'all are in here. More than 100 of y'all. Appreciate y'all, as Trav said, being here. On this break, make sure you get your jerky. Trav, it's a nice hat you got on there.
Boom. Well, let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
So, this hat brought to you. You all know Reddy Mustafaraj, our Albanian, I believe, walk-on kicker. Awesome dude. Has a clothing line with his sister. He's a walk-on. This is how he helps pay for his school. And I've got this sweet hat from him. It's got Max Bet on the back. And he gave me a discount code too. I don't get anything from it. I just really like the guy. But he's got the polos as well. You see Jeremiah Hall and Toby Rowland, myself, bunch of people wear them. They sell them on campus as well. But Shop Double Team is where you go. And he gave me a discount code to give to you guys. So, again, Travis15 at shopdoubleteam.com gets you 15% off. I don't get anything from that. That is just, he's a good dude. He's a walk-on. I like, help pay him his bills. So, shopdoubleteam.com. Travis15, 15% off. And I might wear my other hat next week. I might wear my other hat, eat my other jerky.
There you go.
It'd be crazy.
Little whammy. Make sure y'all support that kid. Just opportunity to support our own. Outside of even the Crimson Cream NIL stuff, this is another good cause that you can support too. And that hat is dope. That hat is dope for real.
I love this hat. It's like you can't tell with the light, but like the gold coins and the boomer, it's like you see how sparkly.
Mm-hmm. It's nice.
It's shining.
You see the drip.
Yeah, you see the drip.
Yeah.
They have a Noah's Ark of jerky, 2 of every flavor, enough to last you 40 days and 40 nights. That's incredible. That's incredible.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. The polos are awesome. I love the polos. I've worn the polo on the pod many times. Many a times. But
a time. But yeah,
129 asking about McCarty's progress. He was training at C4 full speed. He should be good to go. Barring any setbacks, he should be good to go.
Let's get into some Q&A. Matter of fact, thanks for starting us off with that Boomer 129. Hopefully we get to see him see the field. I mean, he's a great athlete, but he has
right versatility. It's just we've recruited defense so well so quickly. Yeah, that we want to see them all get on the field, but they just need experience.
Yeah, they're young guys. They are young.
I mean, that 2023 linebacker class is so good. Jacoby Johnson is so good. I was sitting up with the former, the offensive coordinator, Jim Donnan, under Barry Switzer. His son, Todd, one of the coolest dudes you've ever met. I was sitting with him watching a game, and he said, watch Jacoby Johnson on this kickoff. He beat everybody by 5 yards every single kickoff. And I was like, I had never really paid attention to it because right after we score, right, we're high-fiving, we're all that. Everybody, I get up, get a drink or hit the restroom or whatever. I go back down. I'm like, I'm not really paying as much attention to kick coverage as maybe I should because I assume they're going to be a touchback. But when you see it, yeah, Jacoby Johnson, that dude, he's so athletic. And so is Jaden Rowe. He's just got to get healthy.
I know. We
could sit here all day and just talk about all the young athletes we have. We would need another hour.
He would. Yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for both of them, like you said, but they got to get healthy, Jaden especially. But Kobe Johnson looks the part, that's for sure.
Alley Cats.
Yeah, come on, Toph. Get on him. Gotta have more than 45 likes with the amount of people we got watching right now. Hit the like button. It's free.
Hit the like.
Hit the like. Get you some jerky. Get a hat and some other gear.
Absolutely.
30 seconds to do that.
Yep. 30 seconds. Silence. Like the video. All right.
It's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie.
I thought you were gonna start rapping.
I was vibing at the end there. That was like, oh, okay, I see.
Kind of hot. I ain't gonna front. Kind of hot. Where else can you get this type of entertainment?
Yeah, exactly. On a Thursday night. Come
and
on.
I'm not saying it's even highly entertaining. It's just a very specific type of entertainment. I didn't ask where can you be entertained like this. I asked where can you get this type of entertainment. Completely different questions.
Y'all know y'all love us. All
right, what other questions you guys got? Next 5 commits that's hard to answer in December. What does folk think BB coach shops from the Sam's Club door greeter of the month? I'll tell you what, just hired a 29-year-old. That kid probably has never even been in a Sam's. He's probably only shopped online for anything that he's ever had. That guy probably has been on TikTok more than any coach outside of, I guess, Dabo. I know Dabo did his little TikTok dance with the gloves. That was nice. But, yeah, he's a young cat, man. And that's the thing is in the Peyton Pierce recruitment specifically, a younger, like Skalski, I think should have been more involved in that recruitment. When it comes to young linebackers, bro, this is your dude. Yeah. Like that, you should land some of your Sammy Browns of the world, some of your Peyton Pierces of the world, some of your Braden Platts of the world. The guys that got away, this is your dude. Coaches in the Southeast, him and James Skalski can give all of their attention to the linebackers. Brent doesn't have to – he'll still help coach linebackers, but it's not going to be a situation like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got a national championship.
Yeah, we haven't talked about this. Give me – and keep in mind, I've been a big believer in, look, Michigan keeps winning. Everybody wants Michigan to go down because the cheating stuff and this, that, and the other. Like, they want them to go down. But – and I've been picking them. Been picking them. But I just don't – if Michael Penix plays like he did against Texas, I don't think he can lose.
Yeah.
I mean, the big argument for Michigan is that look what that pass rush did to Alabama. Well, Alabama was 130th in the
Yeah.
country in sacks allowed through 7 games. They were 122nd in the country in sacks allowed at the end of the season. They allowed 5 sacks against South Florida. They allowed 6 sacks against Mississippi State. Like, they were not a good offensive line.
Yeah.
And their center was rolling the ball to Jalen Milroe. One time he single-handedly cost them points. So I think a lot of people are caught in the moment with Michigan. Texas's defensive line is very good. And they sacked Penix 0 times. And it wasn't because of his Joe Moore award-winning offensive line, which he does have. He can move in that pocket, man, and keep his eyes down the field.
Mm-hmm.
He dodged Byron Murphy Jr. one time. I thought Byron Murphy was going to take his head off. And yeah, it's Sooner Cowboys talking about Michigan keeping the ball away from Penix and run a lot. Texas ran a lot too. I don't know. Texas screwed themselves a lot by pre-snap penalties, by throwing the ball when they shouldn't have, and Quinn going down beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The first 6 third downs that Texas faced, they were 10 yards or longer. That's insane.
Wow.
Like, you can't run the ball on 3rd and 12. But I don't know. I just feel like Washington's built for close games. They've won 10 close games in a row. And I think a lot of people are just looking at the logo on the Michigan helmet and saying this is the blue blood, they're going to win. So we'll see. What do you think? Who you like?
I mean, Michigan's defense is good. I think they'll get after their defensive line as a whole. I think it's better than Texas's. Texas has great defensive tackles, but I think Michigan's defensive line as a whole, and they have a history of producing great edge rushers as well. I mean,
Michigan has better edge rushers for sure.
Yeah. And I mean, we got one of them up here in Indianapolis, Kwity Paye. He's been good for us when he's healthy. So, I mean,
I know I wanted Minnesota to take him.
Yeah, but yeah, so we'll see. I mean, if Penix has time, then yeah, like I think that Michigan has not seen a passing attack like Washington's. If Kyle McCord was a better quarterback, then you could say, hey, Ohio State's receivers, not are exactly on par with Washington. I mean, they got the talent with they had Julian Fleming, they had Emeka Egbuka, obviously Marvin Harrison Jr., the Rome Odunze. I think the quarterback and wide receiver connection makes them a bigger threat to Michigan than what Marvin Harrison Jr. was alone, because Kyle McCord cannot sniff Michael Penix's jockstrap. So ultimately, that I think will be their biggest test. But then again, we'll see. Penix throws it into some tight windows sometimes, and most of the time he gets away with it because he's got good arm strength. The way he's able to throw that route.
And the Washington receivers as a whole, they show their hands so late, and it's incredible. What I mean by that is a defensive back is supposed to get his head around whenever he sees, like a wide receiver is looking back. Whenever he sees those hands go up, then they either rake across the hands or they go up and try and hold in front of the hands or they turn. And if the wide receiver's running and by the time the ball's basically there, they show their hands late, there's nothing you can do about it. So that's what happens when you've played 65 games. Like that's what happens when you're a 6th-year quarterback.
Yeah.
you can put the ball where it needs to be.
Yep.
Simple as that. You can move in the pocket like that. Keep your eyes downfield. You can be calm.
Yep.
So
That's what
this
DD
is
was this year.
yeah. He'd only played 5 full seasons. And no, he'd only played 4 full seasons technically.
Yeah, yeah.
He had a COVID year and he was injured for that other year. So that Mr. John question is pretty interesting. I want to get people's opinions on that.
Where is that at? Let me see. Okay, here we go. If you're Carolina with the number 1 pick, will you take Williams, Penix, or Dan? The Bears have it though, don't they?
Hell, they could trade out of it knowing that they need they don't need a quarterback. Which that's a question. Do you think Chicago needs a quarterback, or do you like Justin Fields?
I mean, I like Justin Fields, but I just don't. Is he going to continue to work there? Ooh, the camera went off. Hold on. You know, the question is not whether I like him or not; it's whether they like him or not.
Well, I don't have them on the podcast with me, buddy.
I know. I mean, I'd be okay with giving him. I mean, has he had 2 or 3 coordinators?
Yeah, he's got a very Baker-esque type situation going on up there.
I mean, that's what me and my wife were talking about earlier today. She real quick, she got into the whole like, because I've been getting her into fantasy football, and so she's like, you know, I feel like a majority of the quarterbacks in the NFL are system quarterbacks. Most of them can't do things on their own. I was like, you paid attention, good job. So I was like, which ones do you feel like are not? And she was like, well, I would say Patrick's not, like Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. And she was like, I mean, technically, you know, Baker's been in 2 places and done well. And I said, hey, like, I like that. But we talked about, like, the fact that Baker's had, like, 8 different offenses he's had to learn. Like,
right.
Dude has only been able to sit through literally one offense for 2 years once. And that time, his second year, he was hurt. So, like, that stuff doesn't matter. And it does elevate quarterback play, obviously, along with the people you have around that quarterback. Justin Fields is not and was not where Baker was mentally. Doesn't mean I'm not saying he's not as smart IQ wise as Baker. I don't truly know that, but Baker was so good when he went to the league, like mentally, like at the board, that he was able to, you know, immediately like break the rookie touchdown record because so for people to say Baker's one read, they don't know what they're talking about. One, but secondly, like he was able to do that, but he's been through so many different systems that makes it hard. And so when you're maybe not at that level, because Justin Fields was still only what 21 when he got into the league, he was still pretty young. And then now, you know, you're going from a college game to this, and you have just different coordinators and people that don't know what they're doing. And so I don't know, man. I mean, I guess it just depends. Caleb Williams is enticing, though, but you could have it at the same situation. Caleb's a better passer than Justin ever was, in my opinion. Like,
yes,
pure passer of football. But I don't know. What do you think? I wouldn't take Penix at number 1 or Daniels. I'd take Caleb's number 1 in my opinion over those 2. Penix is ready made. Penix is like Baker was that year. I think Penix is the most ready.
But he's got injury history.
Yes, correct.
That when you start dealing with knees,
yep,
you got to worry about them. So I would take Caleb in a heartbeat. I mean, I would take Caleb number 1.
Yeah.
Had Caleb had a top 70 defense,
yeah,
he's probably in the playoff twice. He might have a national championship.
Yeah.
Like it's Caleb's good, man. Caleb's really, really good. And he had a bad offensive line. He had an awful defense. You know, he had a coach that didn't know what he was doing. They kept on basically just saying, hey, Caleb, go out in there and play, you know, backyard football. And Caleb did. He would have been the number 1 pick if he went last year. And I think people are overthinking it. I think they're overthinking the crying after the games and this, that, and the other. Like, I would take Caleb number 1. If the Vikings have the pick, it would feel like it felt when Adrian Peterson got drafted to the Vikings if we got Caleb.
Yeah.
That's how good I think he is.
Yeah. Hey, guess we'll
Time to,
see.
time to call up Carl. Tell him,
Yeah.
hey, Carl,
Woo.
force yourself to the Vikings. I already told him. I said we'd love to have you in Minnesota.
LOL. Caleb's only bowl win. That's true.
Yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean, if
mean,
Penix didn't have the injury history, I think if you want a guy that's ready to compete right now, then I can understand taking him. But also Caleb presents way more dual threat ability too than Penix can run a little bit, but again, he has that injury history, like you said. So he's not. He really
he
doesn't.
can't run like Caleb can.
Oh no. Oh no. Not at all. Not at all.
Unless when it comes to dealing with Carl, he's in the NFL.
He's in the NFL. They're not gonna have to deal with him. He's a grown man. Like they'll just kick
Right,
him in the stadium. What you mean?
right. So that's Sooner Cowboys knows what's up. I'd take Caleb over Dak. Yes, you would.
Of course you would.
You say a lot of wild stuff on here, but
Dax had a
they're
good year though. Dax had a
accurate.
good year. See, Dak's the one that makes you want to choke people out about because like he's having a good year, don't get me wrong. But like that man has had as much consistency as you could ask for as a quarterback. And has still, besides 2 seasons, been average.
They're giving him really good defenses too.
Just saying.
Now refs aren't even hearing people report as eligible. How much more help do you need?
Yeah, facts. Facts. Yeah. Well, the NFL, Copenhagen, NFL humbles you quick. I mean, Baker didn't necessarily have that reputation, but like Baker would say he got humbled a little bit, with everything that.
I mean, and Caleb, I think to me is a guy that he'll just keep working. Like they'll. Caleb didn't get that way just because he was born that way. Like they had that kid with like NFL level QB trainers, young, like wanted to go get developed. It's Caleb wasn't just born like that. So I mean, he had to work for it, and I think he'll continue to work for it. Like I said, I think the team would be silly to pass up on him. But I hope there's a bunch of silly teams in front of Minnesota. Be silly. Bunch of silly geese just up there in front of Minnesota, drafting God knows who.
There's no way that happens.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to be at?
If we lose this weekend, we'll probably be top 10. And we better take a quarterback, man.
Listen, if Caleb freaking Williams goes less than like out of the top 5, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Yeah, he's on the Epstein list if he falls out of the top 5.
Facts.
That's the only way.
That's the only way. That's the only thing that makes sense. Yeah.
That's the only way.
Yep. Well, guys, we're about at that time. Appreciate you guys coming out tonight. And we'll see what it'll be exciting to see when Oklahoma officially announces Zach Alley as defensive coordinator. Hear what BV says about him in particular. I think that'll be telling. And just looking forward to the winner, seeing who gets better. We'll talk about that a little bit next week. Who we feel like needs to have a big winner, can improve for OU, and obviously we'll be looking for that. Second, my camera went out again. Man, something's wrong today. That second transfer portal window and see, what else we can do offensive line wise. I'm sure they'll be looking still, but excited about where OU is going to go. And, we'll talk a little bit SEC next week too. A little bit SEC schedule.
Yeah. Ready.
It's going to be a fun off season. Make sure you get your beef jerky, y'all. One more time before we head out, like that button. And also remember promo code Travis, 50% off at righteousfelon.com, as well as Travis15 at shopdoubleteam.com too, for the gear, the hat, as you can see there, that's on his head.
And the polos. Good for the polos. Good site wide.
They do like the polos. Does Parker's camera go out a lot too? I don't.
Yeah, a
Was it?
lot.
Yeah, talked to Parker about that. Yeah, that's
Now
rough.
mine, my connection goes. My camera's great, but my connection goes a little fuzzy every once in a while.
A little iffy. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all, and we'll see you this time next week. Boomer. All right.